what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're in one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have that one electrifying pony from Ford. This is it. This is a 2023 Ford Mustang Mach-E. This particular one is the GT, but the GT performance spec. But before we get into this cyber orange all-wheel drive four-door Mustang, let's talk about what's going on here. Ford, they're bringing the business when it comes to electrification. This being their first mass-produced electric vehicle, the Mach-E has now grown in its own to feature a top performance trim known as the GT. Makes sense since you could buy a Mustang GT still to this day and going into the new S650 era of the mighty Mustang. Now, when it comes to performance SUVs, there's a ton to choose from, but has Ford found the perfect balance between electrification, the Mustang name, and performance? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this bright, sun-kissed cyber orange and find out, is this the best performance, the new performance SUV you should be buying? Let's go ahead and find out. Right off the bat, the style. I think a lot of people have grown to appreciate what Ford is doing with the Mach-E, especially in the GT form. You're gonna get that LED headlight, LED daytime running lamp, and remember, the way that they designed it was to bring some of those Mustang elements into the shape. This is not a true Mustang, obviously, but from a marketing standpoint, it was very smart of them to tie that name because everybody knows the Mustang name. Now, working your way down, you do have functional, large corner air curtains, some gloss black, nothing too crazy, balances nicely with the cyber orange. And remember, from a performance standpoint, and especially being an EV, we want to channel that air around the front of the vehicle to really get that better slippery design. As we drop down, you're going to get a massive front splitter when you go GT, and as we come across that front end, that's where you're going to see the Mustang pony. It's been around since 1964 and a half. I know there's a lot of people that hate it, a lot of people that love it, that it's on this vehicle. Let me know if you have gotten over the Mustang being featured on the front of the Mach-E. But what's kind of cool is at night, it does light up LED all around it. And I do like what they did with the center portion. Instead of just giving me a big slab of flat plastic or gloss plastic, they really gave a nice design to the front of it. And you're also gonna get a forward-facing camera, which has been cleanly integrated. Now, working your way down, you'll see that massive splitter, just like on a Mustang GT Performance Pack. This is gonna help give us downforce and stop air from going underneath this Mach-E GT. Now, when we get up onto the low-slung hood, you can see the body lines, like I said, trying to take from the performance history of Ford, and everything has a nice flow to it right towards the side view mirrors. Let me know what you think about Cyber Orange. This is the first one that I've actually seen with my hands on Cyber Orange. Very curious to see what you think about it. I think it kind of fits it pretty nicely. Now, when you come around the bend, when you go performance spec on the mighty Mach-E GT, these are the wheels and tires that you're gonna get. You're gonna get these Pirelli P0 tires, 20-inch wheel, very intricate design on the machined aluminum with the gloss black. You got the pony in the center. Of course, we're gonna have nice large Brembo brakes. That's another nice performance addition. It's just like going performance package on a traditional Mustang. When you go Mach-E performance, these are the things that you're getting. Of course, you're gonna have your regen braking, and this still has your one pedal operation powering this mighty Mach-E GT. Motor up front, motor out back is gonna give us all-wheel drive, and there's no other Mustang in the world that has all-wheel drive. Remember, Mustang is traditionally rear-wheel drive. Now, you'll notice on the corner here, that arrow, like I was showing you from the front, that's how the air is gonna come out. I love the way with the flared fender, they painted everything cyber orange. This would have looked not so great if it was gloss black, so I'm glad that they did that. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what kind of tire size do we have? 245 on the width, 45 series sidewall, all four corners. But Let me know what you think about the wheels. Maybe a pain to clean, but I think they look pretty good with the Cyber Orange. Now going down the side, super clean. You're gonna get gloss black on the mirror caps, your LED turn signals built in. We do have 360-degree cameras. You're gonna get your Mach-E X badging down there that lets you know that this has the dual motor setup. Remember, a Mach-E is based rear-wheel drive, or you could get the dual motor setup to have your all-wheel drive. There is some gloss black along the bottom, nothing too crazy, matches in nicely with what's at the front of the vehicle. And then up top, you are gonna get a full panoramic glass roof. And I like the way that they blacked everything else out on top instead of having that be glass and then the rest Cyber Orange. Of course, if you ever wonder how the heck do you get into a Mach-E, you just push the button and the front doors have this little handle for you to open and close. Working our way towards the rear, you could see what the designers did, trying to get that fastback roof design with the rear quarter window. And then I'm gonna have Steven swing around to where you could really see not only the fastback design, but then that flared fender. Really looks good from this angle. This is one of my favorite angles on the Mach-E. And then of course the tail end of the business, nice, long, low roof spoiler. I just wish they wouldn't have put a wiper up here. You got all this room, that would have just cleaned it up. Wouldn't you agree? Put it in the comment section whether you agree or disagree that you care about the rear wiper. You can see taillights, they did the triple bar taillights, just like on a traditional Mustang. And on the GT, they're all cleared out. Looks really good. You got the GT badge, of course, and then dropping it all the way down, super clean with a Racy rear diffuser. So this rear diffuser is actually functional within that gloss black lower rear bumper. We got our LED reverse lights, but that's really gonna help give us some downforce and some stick, because wait until we talk about power. Talking about power, let's go to the next spot and see what kind of horsepower this Mustang GT is producing. All right guys, we got the hood pop. Now, normally under a traditional Mustang hood, you'd see a big old V8. Underneath this hood, you obviously have that front mounted trunk. Ford is officially calling it the frunk. And what's great about this setup is that you could actually use it as a cooler. So you have over 6 cubic feet of space, put bags in there, or you can fill it up with ice and drinks when you go to the drag strip and then just drain the water out. Underneath the hood, I do like the way they put the Mustang badge there. But what are we talking about when we got performance in this Mach-E GT Performance Edition? 2 electric motors producing 480 horsepower, 634 pound-feet of torque. It does have a direct drive transmission, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Quarter mile blazes by at 12.7 seconds at 101 miles per hour. It utilizes a 91 kilowatt hour liquid cooled lithium ion battery pack. Top speed is governed to 120 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs 5,000 pounds. Range, according to Ford, is 300 miles. On the window sticker, it says 268 miles. That equates to 88 mpges in the city, 75 mpges on the highway. And those front rotors with those Brembo calipers are 15.2 inches in diameter. So nice to see, like I said, some real performance numbers. Nobody could argue with the horsepower, which it has more horsepower than a Mustang GT. It's got way more torque, plus you got that all-wheel drive superiority. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's see this Mach-E GT in motion. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Cyber Orange Mach-E GT Performance Edition. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm not so sure if I want an EV yet, but I am digging the Mach-E, especially when you look at over 600 pound-feet of torque. I guess the big question is, how much is it? So MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right around $78,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I like the clean style. You have soft touch material up top, a little thin strip of this aluminum style finish, and then the rest is gonna be that Alcantara style microfiber suede material. No gloss black, which is wonderful. Look at how they do the door handles. It's a latch that you actually pull back on. So kind of cool, doing something different. You got the contrast stitching, large speaker grill in the center there, and obviously a speaker underneath it. That's part of the Bang & Olufsen sound system. Door pocket is also a great size. You could go ahead and get yourself a 12-inch Florida grouper sub, because Clearwater is the home of the grouper sub sandwich, and get extra tartar sauce on it. Plenty of room. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, they actually implement the speakers in the top portion of the dash closer to you, not further away. So that's definitely giving it a different look. I'm digging this aluminum material better than just carbon fiber. Everybody's doing carbon fiber. It's nice to do something a little different, a little bit more of that Alcantara material. And then what do we got? We got that ginormous 15.5-inch infotainment system. It's large. I am just not fond of how it's attached. So that's going to be my zonk, because I wish it was integrated more into the dash. But this thing does everything, obviously. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You do have a physical volume knob. The zonk is everything else is through the screen, including your AC controls. So you come over to the temperature, you can slide up and down. It is very responsive. I just wish there were some physical buttons. That's all. You got 3 stages of heated seats and 3 stages of ventilated seats, which is nice. And then what's really easy is that when you click on the Mach-E icon, now you got your different modes. If you want to go full in, unbridled is the way to go, and that's how we're going to be going on throttle. Cameras, clear as day. Great resolution. You got your 360 cam. I could swap through all sorts of readouts. And then what's also really cool is when you go to your main setting, you could actually come in here and have a ton of different things, including sketch, which look what we could do. We could go, look at that. Look how responsive that is. I love Racy's rides. Huh? Now we're talking. There we go. So you can see that shows how easy it is to operate the system. Now, working your way down, you do have a massive storage area. USB-C, USB-A, a Twinkie holder, wireless charging, and 2 Three Musketeer bars can fit right there. Down below, that's where you're gonna bring your bag of apples. So you got some Red Delicious, maybe some Granny Smith. Those could go right down there. 2 cup holders, a little bit of gloss black, but it's not bothering me. This is gonna control your transmission, what direction you're going in. Love the stitching. Very, very classy without being too over the top. Same thing on the armrest. You got the GT badge, contrast stitching, soft material, and then you just lift it up. You got a 12 volt. This is nice because you could open and close it. I'd rather just have it closed, but you could open it. Got some felt lining in there. I say you could easily put, and this is for the people from the 80s, you could put about, I would say 6 My Little Ponies. Since we're in a Little Pony, 6, maybe 7 My Little Ponies with the little brushes and combs so you could do their hair, put little barrettes in it and all that kind of stuff. Seats, nice material, soft with the contrast stitching. Unique design to how they did the bolstering. More of that Alcantara. You do have power, electric assist for the passenger. Of course, over here on the driver's side, I have power assist. You got that full panoramic roof, which the zonk is, there's no shade. Like right now, I don't want the sun coming through, and I can't do anything about it. I guess I could go get a can of spray paint and spray paint the roof, but that would be probably counterproductive to having a glass roof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a pony on the steering wheel I want to show you in the Mach-E GT. All right, guys, business time. Now, what's crazy is you get 3 memory seat settings, which are nice. So think about it. If you're lucky enough to have 2 friends, you could let them borrow your Cyber Orange Mach-E GT. Just make sure they charge it up before they give it back to you. Down below, you get a nice aluminum sill plate, lights up at night with the GT badge and the Mustang horse. You do have your seat controls, well within fingertips reach. I'm 6 feet tall, and you got plenty of room, even with the glass roof. And then, of course, we got the steering wheel. Leather wrapped. There's the Mighty Mustang badge on there with the gloss black, just a little bit. I like the way they do the two-piece leather on the bottom, and then that nice white stitching. And then you're gonna get that large digital display for your instrumentation. Let me show you real quick. When you go into drive, I'm gonna try not to drive over Steven, but that's what they give you on the screen there when it comes to your readouts. So that's kind of cool. And that's what I think allows me to feel a little bit more comfortable when I'm driving this compared to some other EVs, is that it feels like a regular traditional car, the way everything's set up, besides this ginormous screen. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the back seat and see if your passengers are gonna enjoy it when you go on throttle in your mighty muscle Mach-E GT. All right, guys, back seat time. And what's incredible is even with that low slung roof, you actually get a ton of passenger room back here, especially up top. And what is nice is that with the glass roof, it even makes it feel more open and airy. I just, like I said, I want a shade. I want a button that I could press, not some kind of stick on like you lick it like a stamp and have to stick up the shade. I want a button where a power shade closes. But let's see what you got behind the seats. Smooth material, one-piece back, no pockets on either side. So if you have that calzone, that grouper calzone, if you're wondering what's a grouper calzone, it's actually a traditional calzone. Get rid of the sauce, the marinara sauce, and you fill it up with tartar sauce and a bunch of chopped up grouper. That's actually Steven's favorite thing to eat for lunch. You don't want to be around him after he's done eating it because, yeah, you know. But anyways, super smooth. The back of the center console has 2 AC vents. You got a USB-C, a USB-A, so you got connectivity, and we got the AC vents back here. Seats are very comfortable. So I'm digging the way the seats are comfy. We do have a nice Charmin improved and approved center armrest with 2 cup holders. And I also like the way they did the material, just like up front with the stitching, the nice microfiber suede material. But why don't we go ahead? This is an SUV. Let's see how much cargo room that we have in this mighty Mach-E GT. Right, guys, time to get inside the back of the Mach-E GT. You're just gonna hit that button. Nice electric assist, and besides the room underneath the frunk, you're also gonna get a nice, wide, pretty tall opening for a sporty crossover SUV. What do we got though when it comes to cubic feet? That's 30 cubic feet of space with the seats up. What I do like is that the cargo floor is a little lower than the actual back portion of the rear bumper. That's gonna give you a nice kind of wall to block things from rolling out. Like if you went shopping and you had your watermelons and your cantaloupes and you park on a hill, you don't want all that going down the side of the road. They do give you the official Henry Ford Twinkie holder. Believe it or not, Twinkies were Henry Ford's favorite snack of the day. That's what gave him the inspiration to build the first assembly line. But that totally fits a box of Twinkies nicely. You do have a 12 volt on the passenger side and the subwoofer for the Bang & Olufsen sound system. Now to put the seats down, you kind of have to reach in, but it's not too bad. We're gonna just flip it down. 1, 2, 3, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And you can see those seats basically fold totally flat. But you know what? If you're ready, I'm ready. They say this is a performance SUV. That's what Ford says. Let's go ahead, let's go on throttle in this Mach-E GT and see if it's true. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Mach-E GT Performance Edition from a slow roll. On throttle, here we go, look at this. I tell you, it does have the power, that's for sure, to put you back in your seat. Let's see how this thing handles. Going into this right-hand bend. On throttle. I think what makes it extra fun is that we're on all seasons and we're only looking at a 245 width tire at all 4 corners. So would be very interesting to see how incredible this thing would handle with some sticky, maybe some Cup 2s, or even some Sport 4S's from Michelin. I think would be the ticket as a good daily driver tire, but also something that's going to give you a little bit more stick. Getting to everything is well within reach. I mean, how can you not successfully reach a 15.5-inch screen? And then having the dash laid out, like I said, it feels like a traditional car. And then when you go on throttle, that's where it feels really good because the seats are supportive. Watch. On throttle, here we go. Now you'll notice when you're in unbridled mode, which is the mode obviously we're in right now because you can see that on the screen, that gives you a little bit of sound through the speakers. Now the good thing is they're not trying to totally mimic a V8 engine, which is a very, very good thing. Thank God they did not do that. I think that would be too corny. But you could hear that it's got a meaty sound coming through the speakers compared to your standard Mach-E vehicle lineup. But visibility is really great in these vehicles, and if you're gonna daily drive it, like I said, the seats are comfortable, they're also supportive. Could use a little bit more side bolstering, but I think it's a good compromise between the two with what people are gonna utilize this vehicle for. But the technology in this, obviously, the range is gonna be the big question mark. Let me know how you feel about that. I know Ford advertises 300-mile range, but it is interesting that on the Maroni, it doesn't say 300-mile range on it. It says 268. So something to take into consideration and be aware of. But like I said, getting through the infotainment system, very intuitive system. You could pull up your navigation very, very easily. And then, of course, like I said, you got that on throttle action. Another thing, like I was pointing out earlier, is that you do have the one pedal operation, which you could easily turn on and off just by the press of your finger on a screen. But on throttle, here we go. On the brakes, the regen braking taking place. Going around. We actually got the rear end to come out a little bit on this thing, and a lot of that has to do with, like I said, they're all season tires, and there's some tire shine on the sidewall, but we just got the back end to come out a little bit on this Mach-E GT, so that really definitely adds to the fun factor, being able to move around the rear on these Pirelli P0 all-season tires. Kind of ups the fun factor. Now, the one thing that I can't totally wrap my mind around is the steering. In unbridled mode, the steering is a heavier feel like I like, but actual feedback, I'm not getting it 100%, and that's kind of making me a little weary. All right, guys, once again from a dead stop, on throttle, nose points for the sky, and we are off and running. Into this long hand, left hand, this long hand, left hand, long bend, really holds a nice line. It's getting me all choked up. And then, like I said, those massive Brembo brakes slow down this 5,000-pound vehicle really well. On throttle, here we go. It's interesting though, because as you go faster, you could feel like it starts to run out of steam, which is interesting. So something to think about, you know, the top speed being limited to 120 miles per hour. Let me know how you feel about that overall, but it is weird how as you go past 75, 80, it starts to run out of steam a little bit. So very curious what is going on with that part of the driving experience. But other than that, I mean, it's a fun vehicle, definitely. Let me know if you think that this deserves the Mustang name. I get why Ford did it, but I'm curious to see what you think about it. But definitely has the go factor when you go on throttle. And what's nice is that driving this every day, I mean, it's comfortable. You're not getting beat up. You got that Magna-Ride suspension, which is fine-tuning everything. Obviously, they went through the chassis to make this a better handling Mach-E, and you do get that instant advantage of having a lower center of gravity compared to other performance SUVs that are internal combustion engine, since we do have the battery in the belly of this vehicle. But once again, on throttle, it almost jerks the steering wheel right out of your hand. But you see, once we get to 80, it starts slowing down. So just something to point out compared to other EVs that we have driven that are performance oriented, like obviously Porsche's Taycan. But think about price point, think about what you're getting at the end of the day when you go Mach-E GT. And that's the big question. Is this the best new performance SUV for the money? Let me know in that comment section. But driving down the highway, it's actually pretty smooth and fairly quiet for the most part. I just wish there was a power sunshade because, like I said, especially here in Florida, that sun can really cook you, and I don't want to be a fried egg inside a Mach-E GT. Got all your safety features, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, emergency brake assist, the whole 9 yards, the B&O sound system. And then, like I was showing, to turn on the one pedal operation, you just hit that. Now I release, look, no feet on the pedals, and I'm slowing down. And at first it's gonna feel really weird, I promise you that, but as you drive it more, you'll get more and more used to it. And I think the thing where you're really gonna be grateful for it is when you're in traffic. When you're in a high traffic situation on the highway, it really makes it so much easier to not get stressed out while you're inching forward because of just modulating the one pedal, and that's it. But hopefully this has been a nice overall review of what the Mach-E GT Performance Edition is bringing to the table. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap it up. So I'll see you in a split second. On throttle. See you guys. All right, guys, it's been one of those plugged in, electrifying kind of days here on Racy's Rides. Definitely want to thank Ford for allowing us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Is the Mach-E GT the best performance SUV for the money that is fully electric? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Racy's Rides family. We got to give it up to Stephen Flood Photography, working the camera like a champ. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.